Like, if you want people to really understand or get something and you trying to convict or condemn people, do it with things that really matters, that's really going to hit them. You know? Like, speak on husbands loving their wives, or wives loving their husbands, or husbands and wives taking care of the children that never asked to be here. Preach on that. Preach on loving thy neighbor and being more charitable, helping people even if you don't want to help. Even if you feel like you're not able to help, you still try to help in whichever way. Preach on stuff like that. You want to really get someone to feel convicted about something. Talk about that. Talk about their character. But to be talking about like holidays and stuff, and you got people that's sitting around, they're like, well, this is the only time that, my son gets to come home from the army, or this is the only time that my son gets to be off of work, or my daughter is off of work and they get to come in and spend time with the family. But now I feel like I can't even spend time with my family because everybody is condemning me because I'm basically celebrating Christmas. That's stupid. That's stupid. How you celebrate with your family is your business. I feel like we should already have moved away from that. That shouldn't even be like, like we should be focused on character. God wants us to be talking about people with their character. Is getting rid of the jealous, getting rid of the hate, being more supportive. We got siblings that act like Joseph's siblings, and y'all talking about Christmas. What if Christmas is going to be the only time that these siblings actually could come together and have a meal or just a conversation, and you condemning Christmas? That's not the issue. That's not the real issue on the world. The world, that's not the issue. Stop making it an issue. The real problem is we don't know how to work together as humans. The real problem is there's a lot of humans that's in secret competition. The real problem is there's a lot of humans that's not in secret competition. They're just in competition boldly. There's the real problem. The real problem is these husbands ain't loving their wives. These wives ain't loving their husbands. It's no love there. They were forced to be married because they had a child out of wedlock. Or they just settled in this relationship because the other person ain't want them. And now it ain't no love in that house. And that house is leaving to go to your church. And now it ain't no love in your church. Talk about love in the church. Motherfuckers ain't even got no love in they family, in their churches, in their house to even be thinking about Christmas, to even be thinking about Thanksgiving. They can't even sit down and have a meal with their family, and you condemning Christmas and Thanksgiving. They have dreams to be with their family. They can't even do that. Right now, the issue is that they can't come together with their families. The issue is that the families are breaking. The issue is that Joseph's brothers, they here, they outside, they loud. The issue is jealousy. The issue is hatred. The issue is the bullying that's going on. Preach about people bullying one another. Preach about your kids being the bully. Or preach about your kids standing up to defend someone that's being bullied. Preach about stuff like that people can do on their day-to-day. So that we could get people to really change their character. Because when they change their character, they change how they treat people. When they change how they treat people, other people change how they treat people, and then it keeps going, and then everybody is being treated nice, with respect, with honor. That's what we need to be worrying about. I'm going to always say it. Not what we wearing, and not what holidays we celebrating. Because it's deeper than that. That's not how you're going to get to people. You're going to get to people by showing love, you being the example, you complimenting your wife. You making sure you and your wife looking your best. You inspiring people. You talking about love. You talking about real godly relationships. You telling people to wait for the right one and not rushing into things to try to build your congregation. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how parents always expecting children to honor and be loyal to them, but we never asked to be here. You brought me here. You brought me here. They know that first scripture, but they don't read the next one. They don't read the follow-up one. They only know when it say children, honor your parents. But they don't read the next one. They don't read the next one. Talk about that. Because children are the world. We are the world. You got children out here starving. Parents ain't even sending them money. They going to school hungry. They going to church hungry. They going here hungry. Talk about that. Convict these parents. Condemn these parents. They feel, oh, we don't celebrate that, so they don't give their kids nothing. Talk about that. Everybody coming back to school after the break with fresh clothes and stuff, but since you don't celebrate Christmas, you couldn't buy your kids some new shoes or something like that so they could feel good about themselves, be confident walking into the school. No, you always got to prove a point. You always got to prove a point and make it known, oh, you don't celebrate Christmas. You don't celebrate that pagan holiday. Well, you celebrate it in a way that works for you. You bring God into it then. You change it up for you then. But y'all don't want to talk about these things. You don't want to talk about how the congregation is sad, is angry, is not confident, looking like they roll over on bed and they got to go to your church because if they don't, you're going to call them a backslider. You ain't talking about how people don't even want to be there. They got to be there because they feel like they ain't there. They're going to get convicted. Talk about that. Let's talk about building and mending relationships and friendships and being good people and being with the right person and putting jealousy in our back pocket and hiding it and never showing it. Because we all got these things that could come up in us easily. Cain and Abel were the first sons, and we seen how jealous Cain was. Let's talk about that. Do sermons on how to break free from jealousy. How it's all right to be supportive and happy for someone when you feel like your prayers ain't being answered right now. God, like it's okay to still be supportive. Talk about that. You know how good of a sermon that would be if you told people that it's okay to still support your neighbors, even if you feel like you deserved it more than they did, or even if you've been waiting for years and years and years and it feel like your prayers ain't being, it's okay to still be supportive. Talk about that. Do you know how great of a sermon that would be? Oh my God, do you know how mad Jezebel would be that you're fighting against the spirit of jealousy? Like, y'all not talking about the right things. Y'all on church, y'all doing sermons about things and the devil is just happy because we just staying divided. He like, yeah, they down there fighting and arguing about the same little stupid stuff that I put on there to get them to be all confused and fighting one another with. But they ain't talking about, character and treating each other and, being cautious to people and watching out for this and that. Y'all not talking about the right stuff. About how you just need a friend. About just being a good friend. About just complimenting people. Imagine you do a sermon on telling people to compliment people, just boosting other people's confidence when you see some. Imagine how many people will have a confidence boost just in that church. Even after they leave, imagine how many people will be touched because you preached that everyone should love and compliment. You challenge your whole congregation to just compliment whoever you see. Find something to compliment them on. You like her sweater, tell her. You like her eyes, tell her. You like her hairstyle, tell her. You like her shoes, tell her. You like his tie, tell him. If you preached about that, imagine how many people confidence would just be lifted just because someone noticed them and complimented them. If you preach to tell your men to make sure that they complimenting their wives, maybe their wives won't be down here looking all gloomy and sad. Or if you preached and told the wives to make sure that they complimenting their men, maybe the men won't have to be so egotistical because they already know their wife love them and they don't need to be beasted for attention. You want things to change, you need to get on the character. Talk about the character. Talk about how we're treating one another. That's the main issue. I wish people understand that is the only thing that God really want us to be speaking about at this time. Like, if you ain't on this wave where you lifting the vibration and telling people that there's love and there's hope and there's faith, you ain't of God right now. You're not speaking of the true God. Because right now the movement is uplifting people. Right now the movement is telling people that it's hope. Giving people, restoring their faith. This is the movement right now. Right now the movement is telling people, listen, it's okay. You thought this person was your friend? They turned out to be your enemy. It's okay. You don't got to believe or internalize nothing that they said about you. It's false. Keep pushing through. God is going to find you the right partner. God is going to align you with the right friendships. Keep pushing through. You don't go back to that. You don't stay in that. You don't settle in that. You move forward. Somebody say that they don't want you. Somebody showing you that they don't want you. Somebody showing they don't want to be friends with you. Somebody showing they don't value your friendship, your love, whatever it is. You keep it moving. How about y'all preach a sermon on that? Oh my God, do you know how many relationships will be restored because people will be leaving from the relationships that they in now that they ain't supposed to be in, and they'll be finding the real true love of their lives that God wanted them to be with? Oh my God, I almost dropped my phone. If you preached about how we need to wait on the husband or the wives that God wants us to get with, do you know how many freaking marriages will be restored? You know how many people will be celibate? You know how many people be practicing abstinence? Like, what? You know how many kids will be made out of love and will feel love? Y'all talking about all this rah. Speak on these marriages that's having kids and is no love. And now the kids coming up into this world without love. They searching for love in all the right places. Why? Because they mama and daddy failed to give them love in the first place. Preach on that. Preach on that. Y'all don't want to preach on that. Y'all don't want to preach on the real stuff because you of the enemy. The enemy don't want you to get on these topics. Because he know this is how you really going to get people to start thinking. This is how it's really going to sit in people. If you tell people, listen, yes, you went through this, but that don't give you an excuse to treat somebody dookie. Treat somebody like dookie. Yes, you done been through this in your life and you didn't ask for these things to happen to you. Some of the things you did ask for them to happen because you was naive, whatever it is. But that don't give you an excuse to treat people without respect and love. Preach on that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you don't snake your close friends, how you don't snake your best friends, how you don't snake your siblings. Talk about that. Talk about how you should stay so close to your siblings, how God set you up with best friends that's blood and y'all all hating each other. Talk about that. Talk about families. We preaching about the wrong things. We talking about the wrong things. Y'all worried about the wrong things. Why? Because you ain't right. You ain't right. I'm sorry, you ain't right, because if you was right, you'll be noticing. God will be letting you know, you'll be getting the right messages to know what it is that you should be speaking on. People are out here silently crying. They tired of the relationships and the marriages and the situations that they're in. They're tired of the careers and the jobs. Inspire people to go after their dreams. Inspire people to work within their passion. Talk about that. You know how much more wealthy black folks we would have? Like Ayos Mills. Sheesh. Worried about the wrong things. We need to talk about character. Let's take it back to the basics first. Let's get everybody character in order so that we know how to just treat people. How we know how to work as a team. Y'all want churches. Y'all trying to work together as a church and an organization. And the people don't even know how to work as a team. They don't even know how to stay in their position. How everyone has a position. You got to go back to the basics. Like, come on. But I'm going to end this right here. This is almost like a part 2 from the one that I just dropped when I said it's not what it seems. So catch y'all in my next video. Bye.